charge to the Phoveus passive anyways.
If VP suddenly show up with an unexpected mid lane ban similar to like a Valentina, we might be expecting a Tigreal pick down the line for them. But again, that's just a very specific scenario.
I don't think it's that bad. Oh, the Gatot is already banned out from Onic's side. It's going to hurt VP a lot. I want to see them play something like Cho. But the only problem is that like your key targets would be, usually most of the time it's going to be like the mid lane on top of the gold laner. But with Wanwan, it's pretty impossible to freely get a kick. Hilda gets banned. Are they going to do it again? Are they going to try and go for the Hanzo one more time?
A little bit too greedy.
Not.
Yeah.
I hope not.
Got Creamy Granger. No.
Yeah. Granger and then something like a Hanzo, because even we saw that in the last game, like a lot of the resources they went to Andoryu because they were just so far behind, and it made Bober have a really hard time building up on the Farsa. So I don't know, I would like to see I don't know if they want to do utility versus utility. We know that Andoryu is capable of that. You can see there is a Hayabusa being banned out though.
Yeah, it's like wolves in their ear or something. It's crazy. It's crazy how accurate these bans are. Very targeted against VP's side. And especially, it's a really good read when you see the Hilda come through. Almost immediately after the Farsa. So let's see now. How is this going to go? Because the mid and as well as gold is already predetermined by VP, right? So do you want to show off your jungler now and then wait until the very end to see what your support's going to be? Or do you just lock in your support now and tell Onic, like, whatever, pick whatever you want? Because there's really not a lot of options in terms of the jungle at this point.
Yeah.
All of them are actually kind of bad. You go lane, you're going to get picked up. You go, what?
Wow.
What?
I mean, you did mention the Cho earlier for the crowd control. The other hero that does what Cho does in terms of getting vision is the Grok, but that's going to be tough against what the Onyx bringing to the table now. They go for the Lapu Lapu for loot B.
Are they going to play Uranus jungle or something?
For VP?
For VP.
Yeah, they might be leaning towards it.
Because this Grok is interesting. It's a bit of a hit or miss, right? Because if Kalia sticks on top of you, she literally waits for you to, wait for your power of nature to time out, then just grab you. That's the big problem. It's a great disengage to it. Wow, Valentina from Onyx side.
They want the wild charge too, man.
Oh man.
I mean, that's why I was thinking Virtus Pro would even want to consider a Valentina bad earlier. But okay, Onic.
I don't get it. Why would they compromise the mid lane like this? They could have gone for the Kadita anyways and it should have been fine.
I feel like that's also just a confidence pick. You get a second setter alongside that Kalea and the Lapu. You have 3 setters now, essentially, for the side of Onic. I think this feels like Sans telling Coach, hey, I'm not bothered by the trading. I'll be okay.
I would have preferred like a Yeve or something. Create a box. Yep, there we go. The Uranus jungle at the very end. Oh, this one's really tough.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of VP's draft here, though. I think it's going to be hard to pull off. And like you said, there's a lot of crowd control options for Onic to utilize.
If somehow, some way, Virtus Pro gets a much better early game compared to Onic here, they get to punish them. If they get to lock down Sans, who might just be more susceptible to overstepping as he is a Valentina, this could be good for VP. A lot of possibilities to consider. So Gideon, Naisu, you guys have to take over.
Yeah, thank you, Remar. Oh, this is match point for Onic Indonesia. VP. Really interesting draft. We could see the Uranus coming through eventually. I don't think they wanted to go for it, especially when you're up against that Fredrin. Sure, you're thinking about the Hanzo being that late game carry to get you through the end, but it's that mid game that's going to be a huge problem. Right now, the onus is on Onic ID to try and close out this game a little earlier than we would have liked. The scaling is not bad from the side of Virtus Pro. Let's jump right into this game. Onic Indonesia on the blue side facing off against Virtus Pro on the red side, fighting for tournament lives.
It's going to be, once again, a interesting showcase because so far, statistically, this Uranus in the jungle has not been too hot. Actually, just in general, it's kind of fallen off a little bit, struggled, and this is going to take some work for Virtus Pro to make this composition work. It's been a long time since we've seen the Grok come into play too, but Pluto maybe will have more of a, I guess, a better time on the Grok if he can get the setups in comparison to the Arlot where you're just throwing yourself at them. But I think either way with the Kalea across from you, you're going to have it's not going to be fun.
Wait, let's see who wins that retry battle. No, go back to the retry. Yeah. Let's keep our eyes on this. Who wins this one? This is so important for Andoryu. And it's Kyrie who wins it out.
Didn't win it out. Jump into Andoryu. He's pretty tanky. Gets cut off. Whoa, Sands. Oh, and hell, and Andoryu's gone too. Kyrie will pick up a kill. This is devastating for VP.
Yep, and even Bobber ended up dying. That's why this was so important for, oh my god, Keyboy nearly died there. This was so important for Andoryu to win out in that retry battle against Kyrie, because there's no leaving this, right? Battle spells are still available for both Sans and Keyboy, who again, we're struggling to wrestle for control against Bobber and as well as Pluto, but knowing that they already used the battle spells early on, I think Sans, he's playing a mean Valentina game against Bobber.
Yeah, very tough to go down that early because, you know, as we were talking in the draft too, it's like, yeah, it's a Valentina, but Sans, the way he's playing, he doesn't care. He's willing to go for the trades. Does have a level 4, so he can go ahead and take one of these ultimate. He did take the wild charge. Fight for the first turtle. Going to break out. Sans getting a position. There's the jump throw from Loopy. He'll take out Bobber already. And still with the Infernal Pursuit, but Andoryu will get the turtle. But Embracer's Wrath will come down on multiple. Still going for it. Sans gets taken out. Now Keyboy and Kyrie also. Loopy goes down. This is a fight all for VP. A triple kill for Andoryu.
Beautifully played. That's what we want to see from Badcott. At a sliver of his health, he turns it around, and Pluto finally hitting the level 4 just in time for the big turnaround against Onic Indonesia. You can see that right now, Andoryu, this is why Uranus is a big problem, especially when your opponents don't have the raw burst damage to 100 to 0 him. If he's able to linger around in these fights, now with the lead against Kyrie, 2 levels might I add, he will get right in front of his face.
This is what we're going to see here. He's actually going to be a nightmare in the early game. So Kyrie does get his orange. It's going to be fine with that, but Andoryu will take more from Kyrie. And like we mentioned, you know, this is a different start for VP that they definitely needed in game 2.
Bobber sacrifices a little bit of his own life and even a death to make sure that Andoryu tries to get ahead, get the retry out of Kyrie early so they can start invading consistently. And now, winning that scenario and getting 3 kills, Andoryu is significantly ahead of Kyrie at this point of time. What helps is that Pluto, this is when Grok actually gets good. Most of the time, Groks from behind don't make a difference unless he times his wild charge to cancel out a majority of abilities in these 5v5s. But now he's able to walk up into enemy territory, force Kyrie to use that retribution, which works in Andoryu's favor.
He goes in with a flicker right into the wall for Sans. That wild charge used and a flicker down. So Sans has his own wild charge now. They know the timing on this for Pluto, so he's not going to have that for this next turtle coming up.
I hope Sans, he might want to reconsider taking, instead of the wild charge, but actually stealing away the traction pulse coming in from Bobber, because he also gets to steal the auto attacks plus that passive, which works in his favor.
Yeah, they could approach that fight this way. They're going to be the ones to start up the turtle here. So still no wild charge just yet for Pluto. They'll play into this anyway. A Tsunami Slam on Andoryu. He's so tanky, though. They have to commit so much. He does go down, and Kyrie gets the turtle. Crossbow of the Tang going to be popped off. Loopy will clean up the kill on Pluto. And now they have the advantage here, numbers-wise. Badcott jumps in, trying to keep them at a disengage. He's going to go in for more. Darkwave will catch Loopy, and Loopy, with the rest of the team, will be able to get away.
They couldn't chase any further. Really nicely played by Loopy, right? He jumps in with the bravest fighter. He's right on top of Pluto. He makes sure that Bobber has to respect the distance, but he throws the stun backwards onto Andoryu so he doesn't slip away, because Kyrie was locking him down. He was about to run out of CC. Keyboy already used his resources well. So nicely played for the side of Onic Indonesia as they punch back, but the gold lead is still not theirs just yet. It's very close, and it's a struggle between the 2 teams.
Yeah, they did take away that minor lead that VP was holding on to. 1.5k plus a conceal, and Pluto goes in with a wild charge. We'll see if they respond to Tsunami Slam. Not going to connect that Keyboy was looking for. Still, the double purifies are still up here too. Bobber still in the mid lane. They'll keep it together. They lose that turret up top by trying to make this play. I think they want to trade here for the macro. They want to take this tier 1 on the bottom side, and VP puts in the work. They'll get the objective.
They want to, but that was a bit of a mistake coming in from Keyboy. He could have timed his Tsunami Slam a little bit later because he ended up picking up Pluto, right? Super Igorka doesn't lose his Purify, and Pluto still had the anti-CC because he was close to the wall with the power of nature. So well played by Pluto, and I think that at this point, Onic Indonesia are recognizing, okay, Virtus.pro are here to play. We got to make sure that we win out these scenarios. We don't have as much of a lead that we did in game number 1, but if we're going to come back into this, we need to make sure that Severo is having a good time. His next item, Power Spike, is on the way. He's already got the Wind Talker. As soon as he gets 2 items, we might consider making a play of our own.
Okay, so with that turret going down, we'll see some changing of lanes here too. Severo just trying to get as much as gold as possible. We already saw it in the previous fight. Once he gets that crossbow tank airtime up, he is in a good position. Kairi getting a little more defense, picks up the empty Karas. Now this turtle is up. It's been 1-for-1 for both teams here. This will be the fight, the face-off for this third one.
They have to dance around for now, and Doryu's coming in. He's got a level lead on Kairi.
Loopy over here on the backside. There's a Tsunami Slam. Gonna go for Bad Cop. Bad Cop jumps on it. Severo's in trouble. Does get the crossbow of Tang off though. Turtle's already secured. Sans still alive, able to get Bad Cop. And now Andoryu on the run. I don't think they're gonna chase him. 2 fell for VP. Everyone's still alive for Onic. But the turtle did go to Virtus.pro.
Well played to both squads. Wow, that was almost a clean engagement coming in from Virtus.pro's side. You can see the idea, right? Backhawk gets yoinked. Bobber, he's trying to create a little bit of space, but Pluto, most importantly, seeing the opportunity, sees the intersection between the Tsunami Slam and, more importantly, Severo walking up close to try and make it happen. The damage was there. They needed a little bit more damage from Badcoat to secure that kill, but now this is where it gets dangerous, right? The counter engagement from Lukpi stopping the angles from not only Bobert and actually finding a kill onto him, but denying Super Igorka the Death Sonata shots.
Yeah, Luppi's been doing work still on this Lapu Lapu, really finding the angles. And you know, at this point in the game, when you have this and you're waiting for that first lord to come up in a minute, you just kind of scrape up as much as you can for both sides here to be in a better position to fight for it. But it's been a lot of the decision-making for both sides. You can see this conceal is going to be used. I don't think they catch anyone. Keyboy's job might also just to be, if they can get some battle spells out before that objective take, that's going to be helpful for them. But good trade up here. They'll get another turret as Andoryu takes up the tier 1 on the top side. And that's good for VP. They need this. They need the space to work with this kind of lineup.
Yeah, and Doryu naturally trying to pull attention to himself. He is, well, unfortunately right now, Onic is walking as a squadron, right? Nobody's kind of solo laning by themselves. They're making sure that they have the most amount of coverage while still having options to regroup in case things get bad, because they know Severo is pretty slippery naturally, right? They have to commit flickers if they want to guarantee CC onto Severo's side. However, Lukpi, if he decides to go split up on its own, there's a good chance that Virtus.pro is not going to let that slide for free, right? They're probably going to time it to make sure that he doesn't have the bravest fighter or force him to use it early to initiate for another fight as this Lord spawns.
It's up now. Look at the information that they need, and you can expect Onic to go ahead and take position. And Doryu still working on his purple. He does secure it, so he'll make his way. I'm not sure if Kairi's going to want to grab his. The conceal is going to be used. There's a Tsunami Slam, but the engage on Luffy as well. Mid lane still going to be breaking out. Crossbow Tang isn't close enough to take down Andoryu, but still, Severo finally goes down, and Luffy was chasing Andoryu, but doesn't have enough to burn through this Uranus pick. And now he's in a bad position. He's going to get cut off from the team, and it's Onic that loses 2 in the fight.
Yeah, the execution from Onic, very close, but not enough. Super Igorka played that well. Same goes for Bobber. The fact that both of these two didn't die, and they were able to not only get the space, but find the counter engage against Onic ID. Sans got chunked out the entire time he was going into that wild charge form. Super Igorka was making sure that his damage was applied well.
Oof. And Doryu just showing he is the nightmare right now of Kairi, taking more from the jungle. And Kairi is still a couple levels behind here. Sans has been holding on to this wild charge throughout the game. We'll see how they go ahead with this defense. They've lost some turrets. Now they got to deal with this Lord pushing in, and VP finding themselves in a good position to start getting towards the base of Onic. Again, with this being the first Lord, most likely just gets close to the base. I think it's still going to be cleared out even before we get to the shields here, but VP fighting in the position, fighting with the fact that we have this tanky front line to handle things, and it's more so just keeping Super Igorka alive too. So he's done a great job with positioning in a lot of these fights.
It really, yeah, it really does come to whether or not you can take out the carries from inside of Virtus.pro.
Oh, concealed just to take him off the tier 2. Keyboy has initiated a lot of the fights too. I think now you really have to consider who he grabs with the Tsunami Slam here.
It's too tough because he doesn't have an ideal target. The ideal target's already a Purify, which they can't force out, by the way. But like you catch Bad Card, he's got that Vengeance, right? DR is one of the most powerful stats in the game already, and Pluto has natural anti-CC, so not a lot of value to find.
Again, Keyboy jumps on in. He's going to go for the Tsunami Slam. Anyway, under the base turret, Badcott pops the Vengeance in the winner's crown. Loopy jumping in the fray of all. Badcott finally goes down to Loopy, looking for the target on Super Gorka, as Sands will clean it up. And now with the numbers advantage, they're going to force VP to disengage. Onic on the defense, and they still hold on to the base turret.
Beautifully played here. Really good stuff. They saw that backrow was getting kind of like uncomfortably low, so that's when Keyboy takes advantage of the scenario. Even through the Vengeance, he just didn't have enough health currently at that point of time to survive. And I mean, to be fair, the Winter Crown was a really good call, but Severo, smartly enough, not just throwing everything at him, right? He didn't commit the crossbow Tang just yet. He waited it out, and that's when we see the big turnaround.
See if they still hold on to this mid turret too. So you gotta say, like, Virtus' pro lineup, though, what they have for this composition keeps them in a pretty good fighting form. It doesn't really matter that they lost that gold lead that they had. Onic ID still has to be very peculiar in how they approach these fights, because once again, like we've seen, if you get that Tsunami Slam or these setups on the wrong targets and you're not able to get to Super Gorka, then you're gonna be at a disadvantage with just how tanky right now Virtus Pro seems to be.
Yeah, if Game 1 was about tactical supremacy, Game 2 is about team fight prowess. And I think it's hard, right? Because Virtus Pro have a much easier style of composition to play. And I think Pluto, you can tell by his mechanics on this Grok. Yes, Grok is simple, but the timings, his reaction time is so good, making sure that he doesn't get punished too hard, even though we've seen many, many times there's an overload of CC.
It's a crucial Lord here to take. They'll go ahead and back off of it. They know Endoryu is right around the corner, and this is not just a Lord that they can go ahead and start up, but they're going to start with a Tsunami Slam anyway on Pluto. Pluto gets terrified and knocked up. He's gone, but Loopy's going to be the follow, so the 1-for-1 for now. Keyboy on the run, and Kyrie. They don't want to force this fight. Sand's still holding on to the wild charge. They'll heal back up, and Doryu healthy as well with the rest of VP. So it's a 4v4, the XP for the Roam. How do they approach this fight here?
Suns could have a flank angle.
Oh, Keyboy.
He's lost his conceal, but he's got no Tsunami Slam. I don't see this happening.
Doryu so tanky. Sans going in with a wild charge. If he can pull it off, he's going to get stunned. He goes forward. Still pops it off, but Sans is gone. Not the window that he was looking for. You saw the idea there, but it failed drastically, and now Virtus Pro gets themselves the Lord.
The hell was that? He had multiple different lines to wild charge to almost guarantee hitting multiple people. I mean, he held it for like a decent amount of time, but he doesn't have the base health to tank as long as he would like to, and that just didn't make much sense. I mean, Kyrie even engaged for him to create that angle as well.
Yeah, it's the wild charges seem to be hit or miss on both sides. Pluto didn't even really get to set up the way that he wanted to. But ultimately, Virtus Pro comes out on top of it. They've got themselves this Lord to push in with now. This is going to go ahead and charge into the base. So we'll see how they approach this. Onic ID on the back foot.
They're going to start the siege. I want to see where this wall placement is coming from Pluto. Okay, it's not too bad. Still looking for an opportunity. So here comes the traction pulse, but no, I don't see the engagement angle just yet. And so far, Virtus Pro, very good at utilizing this Lord, but they cannot guarantee more than one inhibitor, right? Because if they want to get a second one, they're going to have to engage pretty hard to force the fight against Onic.
Well, they still have this wave now in the mid lane. Not sure if they'll force this situation from Onic. There's a Tsunami Slam. They're going to choose to fight. They get the immortality to go ahead and pop. Actually, Endoryu is gone, and now back out of trouble too. Sans goes in with that wild charge. They get the double. They'll find him in the mid lane. Onic looks to run him down. Super Gorka trying to win. Pops the win of nature. Severo on the 1v1. He gets the triple and goes on through. They'll wipe out Virtus Pro. And Onic ID, with plenty of time, will now focus on this tier 2. You still have more than 10 seconds for Badcott to be up.
Oh my god.
Can they run it down mid?
They're going to try. The next wave is going to spawn. Their wave clear is okay. It's not the greatest, but Keyboy is taking it on purpose, and they're looking to close it out.
Onic ID, after the fight, after the wipeout, will take the chances for Virtus Pro. They'll get the sweep.